Hello, welcome back to the blog. This is Interpretive Rants, part 10. This is on the two builders in Matthew 8:24 through 27, all right? We're all very familiar with this, especially if you grew up in church. You heard this referred to a lot. There was a man who built his house upon the rock, and there was a guy who built his house upon the sand. And when the winds came and the rains came and the storms came, one stood because it was on solid ground and a good foundation, and one fell, all right? Because it was built on a shifting foundation. Usually growing up, this was taught as the rock is Christ, either accepting Christ or really salvation in general, usually meaning praying a prayer to accept Jesus Christ. Or far more common when I was growing up, that the rock is referred to as the Bible. Right doctrine, good doctrine, right? And I don't have a problem with any of these ideas in and of themselves. I mean, Christ is the rock. I mean, all these kind of things. This is good. But what does it actually say? I'm going to read it. It says, "Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine," this is verse 24, "and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. Now everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell. And great was its fall." So what does it actually say? Those that hear the message and teachings of Christ and obey them are those that will not fall, and they will not fail. That is the foundation. Not just hearing or having right doctrine in your head, but actually living it. But obeying the teachings of Christ, that is the foundation that will see you through hard times. Everyone will go through hard times. Everyone will go through temptations. Everyone will go through crises in their life. Everyone will go through these things. Jesus makes it clear. In this life, you will have tribulation. It's going to happen. What's the difference? The difference between the one who was on sand and the one who was on a rock was that one obeyed, one did not. Okay, and again, in this this kind of grace idea culture that we have, where it's just about believing and we don't actually have to do anything. Okay, this isn't a very popular message, but it's very clear that those who hear and obey, those are the ones who will actually endure in salvation. A lot of people comfort themselves in the fact that they're hearing teaching all the time. Oh, I'm reading the Bible all the time, and or hearing teaching all the time, and all this stuff. But just hearing it alone, James makes this clear in his letter. If you don't turn around and do it, then you actually don't believe it. This is a theme throughout all of Scripture. You can hear God's words and His commandments, but those who actually do them are the ones who believe. All right? Now, of course, you have to hear it and believe it in your heart and all those things, but it's not really a complete faith until you obey. And this is really biblical from Genesis throughout Revelation. This is just the way God works. The whole Bible understands belief as obedience. If you didn't obey the message, you didn't believe it. A really important ending here. This is the conclusion to the Sermon on the Mount, which is a very important context for what we're dealing with here in this passage. In other words, Jesus is saying, you've heard all these things that I've said. Now, here's your choice. You either do them or you don't. And if you want to stand when hard times come, and hard times will come, then you will obey. But if you want to fall like everyone else, and great was its fall, if you want to have a great fall in life and a great failure and be a great failure, then don't obey it. Just listen and comfort yourself in the fact that you understand things. Maybe you have a theological degree or whatever, but that doesn't really commend you before God. All right. This is the conclusion of the Sermon on the Mount. Now that you've heard these things, you're now responsible to obey, and that's a really important kind of idea here in Matthew chapter 8. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Peace.